that Donald Trump has been the president of the United States since 2016 until today. Now, I say that with a caveat. From January 2021 until January of 2025, he was not the president. However, he remained the commander in chief during that entirety. The reason for this is because the Joe Biden administration was a military operation. You're going to continue to hear how Joe Biden was terrible, he was derelict, he was all these terrible things, that he was incompetent on every level. The truth is, the real Joe Biden is all those things. But the person that played that part was an actor. The person that played Kamala was an actress. And it was a great show. And the show was designed to present to America and the rest of the world what corruption looks like when it runs wild. However, it didn't go completely wild. It was kept within reason. So even though we all were given the show of a lifetime, they still prevented us from completely falling off a cliff. Okay. So I know many don't want to hear about that or hear that we're all in a dramatization, but you're living through the greatest psyop ever conducted, the most elaborate and intense ever conducted by military. And we still have a little ways to go with that journey, which is leading us to the RV, NESARA, GESARA, that kind of thing. The challenge is that those terms, NESARA and GESARA, have been so maligned all over the internet, you will not hear our actual government mentioning these terms. However, you will see actions taken step by step to implement the statutes and principles of what that is. And we've been watching that throughout 25 particularly. And now we're in 26, it's really going to pick up speed because they are intent in getting all of this done no later than the 4th of July. So we've got less than 6 months now. When I say all of this, I mean there has to be a coalition of countries. Everybody needs to be on the same page. We need to have no war. There needs to be peace everywhere. And as you're seeing, there's still some skirmishes. We got Iran that's an issue, Ukraine that's an issue, Cuba, Colombia, there's still some issues to be cleaned up. There won't be an RV until all of this is done and the laws are passed that protect the new financial system that makes it possible for this to never happen again. A new financial system is blockchain, distributed ledger technology. And right now, in fact, on Thursday of this week, the Senate begins a markup of the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, in which they're going to be working on this bill. They received this bill from the House back in July of last year. They received 3 bills at the same time. They received the Genius Act, this Market Clarity Act, and they received the bill that there be no CBDC, all in the same day. They passed the Clarity Act and put off the other 2. Why'd they do that? They did that because it wasn't time yet to launch all of this, and they needed to wait until it's time. So when you see the issues in Iran ironed out, issues with Cuba, issues with Colombia, when you see the Market Clarity Act get passed, then you know we're going to be pretty darn close to the Treasury being able to actually issue new asset-backed currency. The RV assets, I don't care whether it's currency or it's historical bonds, are all meant to be paid in the new asset-backed currency. If we don't have that asset-backed currency, there's no way for us to be paid because this family and the patriots of the world in every country are not going to rebuild the world with debt. And our current system is debt-based. So we have a little ways to go. I do think the next 90 days are going to be some of the most dramatic that we've seen, particularly in the last 2 years. And a lot of that is sparked by the sudden rise of metals. If anyone's been watching the silver story, silver's breaking out for a variety of reasons. And those reasons tie in with exposing the fallacy of fiat currency. So silver becomes the big expose of the fallacy of fiat. But in the end, it will be gold that brings down the Fed. And that's done very simply. The Treasury just simply, Treasury will release a gold-backed or asset-backed currency. The moment they do that, fiat becomes absolutely worthless. But they're not quite ready for that yet. This is why the Fed is still operational. This is why the IRS hasn't been taken down yet. The IRS is owned, run, and controlled by the Federal Reserve. It is not a government agency. We are told it's a government agency, but there is no act of Congress that created the IRS. And you'll find similar things going on in other countries. It's always the central bank that owns the collection agency, and that collection agency collects from the people and gives the money to who? It doesn't go to the government. It goes to the Federal Reserve, if you're in the United States. The Federal Reserve then sends that money, and I'm going to back up here. I'm saying this isn't exactly true today, but it was 5 years ago. Okay. The money would go offshore. A third of it went to the Crown of England. A third went to the Vatican, and the other third was divided up among the bankers as the spoils of war. In the United States, it meant $1 trillion was being sucked out of the economy every year, and none of it was being recirculated back in. If the money had gone to government, government recycles that money in the terms of payroll or the government employees and buying things for the use of the government. It gets recycled. So this has been interesting, particularly the United States, because the U.S. has been funding a lot of stuff around the world that we're finding now is very fraudulent. And the fraud, and, some just call it, well, it's not really fraud. It's really just a misappropriation or some other term. It doesn't matter. It's fraud. Okay, let's just be honest. Like the USAID and et cetera. So I give all that as a bit of a background to open a discussion here, because we're all headed to a revaluation, and all of us are here because we have projects and things we want to do to bless the world. But we need those currencies, the new currencies, released, not just America, but all the countries of the world are going to be doing this, going asset backed, so that we can be paid and begin that restoration process. I know it's taken a long time to get here. I've been on this road a long time, longer than maybe some of you. And believe me, 10 years ago, it was far more frustrating because we didn't even see the action that we see today. Today, we get to see all kinds of good things going on. Maduro gets picked up. The U.S. launches a sovereign wealth fund. A lot of people don't understand the importance of that, but that is all part of implementing NESARA. Many of the steps taken throughout 2025, and we will see in 2026, are all about implementing those things that bring in a whole new world. So there is money available for the RV. There's money for the bonds, for the currencies, or everything else, but it doesn't belong to the governments. It's actually privately funded. And the family that's funding this has made a very clear line in the sand that says you will implement NESARA Jasar or we will not move $1. So this is why the delay, if it appears a delay. It's not really been a delay at all. It's just been that we've been on a journey of trying to turn this ship around and get headed in the right direction where we can be aligned to receive the money.